All right, well, you got questions, I got answers. My name's Greg, you're watching How to Play Paintball. So this video is brought to you by PunishersPB.com. Thank you so much to Punishers PB. Please go support those that support the channel. Use the link down below. It does help me out. I'm not going to hide that at all. So that way they see that it is a beneficial thing. So I don't want that to be some like hidden thing or whatever. They did sponsor this video, so thank you so much to them for that. But what we're going to be doing in this video is actually a Q&A that was only from their Instagram. So if you want to be a part of this in the future, I think we'll probably have more of these in the future. So make sure you go over and follow them on Instagram and their other social media platforms. And also, if you use the code WATCHLEARNWIN, which is all one word, and you're going to get some free stuff with your orders. So there's a lot of really great stuff. They already have free shipping over, I think it's $49. So they do have an option even for like next day air. So if you're looking to buy a new marker, please go over and support those that support us. So like I had mentioned, I'm actually going to go ahead and answer some of the top questions that had been input into their Instagram. So we're going to dive right into that. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like this video and we get a good amount, there were some other questions that just didn't make, like they just missed the cut. So if you want to see a part 2, you can put that in the comments, and also make sure that you like this video. All right, so first question comes from, and I have to look down at my phone because the screen name is interesting, MN48588692. I don't know if that means anything, but their question was, what's the best tips for a semi-beginner speedball player? The thing that I would say is, I guess it's going to be kind of twofold. One is, do you want to just go out and play every weekend and just have fun? Or do you want to try to progress and play into tournaments? So if you just want to go and play recreationally, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There's some people that really enjoy just playing basketball. They don't really want to go play in the NBA. So that's completely fine. If that's the case, I would say just make sure that you have comfortable gear. Go with the things that feel best to you, what works best for the type of play that you have. Also, what works best for the local field that you have. There's some fields that maybe having cleats actually isn't the best thing. Maybe it's more of a like a rocky kind of area, and having cleats is actually going to be a deterrent to being able to move on the field. So that's what I would say. Now, if you want to get into more serious tournament paintball, I would definitely say you need to find a local team. Find someone that you're able to start to work together with. Try to find someone that you're able to, start off with some local tournaments and practice. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. There really isn't anything better to do than to practice, and not to do this is definitely a kind of a shameless plug, but I have a lot of drill videos. There's a lot of videos that I have on the channel that are going to be very low paint or no paint drills that are going to be able to help you out with becoming a better player on the field. So there's a lot of things that you can do in the meantime, but it's all just going to be practice. If you want to start getting serious, again, Michael Jordan, I hear about him going out and just doing free throws for like hours on end or whatever it was, however long it was that he was doing free throws. He didn't become good just because he was born Michael Jordan. He put in the work. All right, next question comes from JackAllRed_525. If you could change the rules of the game, what would you add? So my opinion, and this is something I've actually had for a while, is I really wish that they would go to, like the NXL would go to a regional system. The pros would be the only ones, maybe semi-pro, that would be able to go to all of the different events, but there would be like a Southeast Conference, Northeast, Midwest, Southwest, and Northwest Conference. This way, you're going to be able to have a lot more teams coming in. So that way, let's say you're a Florida player. The furthest you have to drive is like South Carolina. So you can do that kind of stuff in a weekend, and you're not having to take as much time off work or school, wherever it is that you're in life. And the pro players are the ones that are actually flying out to different events. The reason why you would have the players or pro players fly out to those different events is you would have kind of like the pro stage. So that way, if someone was coming out to watch you at a tournament, you could say, oh, actually the pros are going to be out at this event. I just think it would help out a lot with being able to, like, the NXL can be expensive. It's not cheap to fly out, all the way over to, Texas, or it really depends on where you're at. Because obviously if you can drive somewhere, that's going to be ideal. But if you have to fly somewhere, then there's more hotel fees. There's a lot of extra costs that are involved that if you only had to drive a smaller distance, it's just going to help cut down on costs. You can carpool together. You're able to also help build some rivalries. Like, I think it's a good thing to be able to build from there. And my opinion is World Cup would be the top teams from those conferences go to a World Cup and compete in there. Now, the teams that didn't make it would still be able to have like another division that they could go and compete in. World Cup is always fun to go play regardless. So even if you're not in the running for winning the series championship, it's still fun to go play. So I think, in my opinion, is that you would have your conference for each division for the different teams that actually won their conference. And then that way, the World Cup means even more for them. And then the other teams that didn't make it, if they wanted to still go and compete, the prize package wouldn't be as much, but they could still go have a fun time, still go play World Cup, still go have a great time. World Cup is always fun to go to. So that's something that I would change, is rather than having this national circuit where everyone from, Division 5 all the way up to pro are traveling, that you would have it where maybe semi-pro and pro were the only teams that were really traveling to each event. So you would have, 5 or 6 events throughout the year. Usually with pro, there's going to be a little bit more funding involved than with a Division 3 team. Sometimes there are some Division 3 teams that have a stupid amount of funding, so that's not always the case. But that is something that I personally would want to change. All right, so W. Simmons 99 asked, I'm a front player and I'm not shooting much paint, about 1 to 2 pods. Should I be shooting more? The answer is yes and no. I know, I wish that there was, I was having a conversation with someone about this. This is one of those things that it's really difficult to say. Because there are certain times on the field, depending on the layout, depending on who you're playing against, depending on how many points there are, depending on how much time is left, there's so many factors that come in. Should I let the team know that I'm here? Should I not let them know? Should I not even shoot? Like, there's times that if I go up the center, I might not even shoot more than a hopper. And that's just because, and I might still bring 6 pods just because you never know, but I might not shoot more than a hopper because my main job on the field is cutting up players that are trying to go wide or trying to do something like that. So I'm not just constantly raining paint. Now, there are times that I am doing that. And maybe I want them to know that they're actually, Greg is at this bunker. I might actually want them to know that, because if they try to come get me, I have another player that's ready for them, so that way they can get eliminated on the way up. Or it could be that there's a player that we go against that we know is going to be aggressive, so that if I'm there, if he tries to bunker me and I try to do, or we trade, it's really not a bad thing because he's been doing a lot of damage on the field. So trading one body might not be the worst thing. So it's really hard to say, am I shooting enough? Because it comes down to so many different factors. So I wish that I had a yes or no answer, but it really is yes and no to your answer. So I'm sorry that I don't have something more concrete for you. All right, so next question comes from Bonehammer50. Who's the most fun and least fun to travel or room with, and why? So I'm guessing that you're asking about the Kings. Probably the most fun person to... I'm trying to think of who would be the most fun to room with. It's hard to say. I mean, we kind of mix around with different people, and then we end up hanging out in different rooms or whatever. So it's really hard to say. If I had to say, the person that came to mind was Mingo, just because he's such a just outwardly expressive person. I don't know how else to describe that. He's just a very friendly person, very positive. So he's someone that it's going to be fun to hang out with. Not that the other guys on the team aren't fun. It's just that I don't think I've ever seen Mingo upset. Like, he's just one of those guys that is always happy. He's the one that on the Kings, that on the webcast, you're going to see him wearing his little sock hat. I don't know where he started that, but every tournament is always wearing a sock hat. So he's that guy. Maybe the least fun, and it's not even like because I don't like them, but I would maybe say Charlie, who owns the Kings, strictly just because he, for his job, like his regular 9 to 5 job, sometimes he's working super late. So that's the only thing I could think of, is that he might have to be working while I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, I mean, because even like Travis would be great to hang out with, because a lot of people that come with him, like his girlfriend, his mom actually comes with him to a lot of tournaments, would probably help with even like laundry and taking care of you in that way. So that would be really nice to have as well. So it's like, and he's just a fun guy to hang out with as well. So like all the guys in the Kings are going to be fun to hang out with in their own way. And I mean, they're all going to have their negatives. People are probably going to be annoyed with me because I'm doing a lot of vlogging and I'm going to be editing while, doing some other stuff. And now that I have a son, probably going to be FaceTiming my wife and, seeing him. So, seeing her, seeing him, saying goodnight, stuff like that. So, that's 2 questions in a row that I didn't really have like a definite answer. So I'm sorry for that. All right, so CJ Rolnicki, I think is how you pronounce it. What's Pro Paintball's biggest problem? Pro Paintball's biggest problem. The thing that comes to mind with Pro Paintball's biggest problem is maybe just the idea that some of these players have. There are a lot of pro players that, and I hope that I always come across this way, there's a lot of pro players that are very open to talking to people. Tyler Harmon comes to mind. Like he's just one of those guys that is constantly positive. The late Tim Montresor, you could talk to him off the field, but these guys are also competitors on the field. Like Tyler Harmon is going to want to go blow your head off. Like that's just how he is. But off the field, I've talked with him. There's a lot of these guys that are just very down to earth. I would say a lot of it could be that some of these pro players have this like big head mentality that they're like better than other people and don't take the time to talk to other people. So I'm sorry if this comes across as like tooting my own horn kind of a thing, but like I coming up in paintball was like, all right, if I ever go pro, God willing, I go pro, I want to be a pro player that people can come and talk to. Like Map Chim was like that. I remember talking with him and he was just super down to earth. And this was back in the day when Naughty Dogs were still around. A lot of those players ended up forming Thunder. So like he's one of those guys. There's a lot of pro players that are super down to earth. And I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be the kind of pro player that a little kid could walk up to and just be excited. I apologize in advance. If I ever am going straight to a match and I seem kind of standoffish, that's strictly just because I might be focused on the match, or I'm focused on the thing at hand, or I hope I never come across that way. So if I do, I apologize in advance. But any other time, I like talking to you guys. I like talking to fans of the channel, fans of the Kings, and being able to teach other players. Like I enjoy teaching. I'm literally a teacher for my profession. So teaching is something that I actually do enjoy. But there's a lot of players that just have this like, well, I'm not going to play them because I'm so-and-so. And honestly, that kind of mentality is going to be something that is kind of a detriment to the sport. It's something that isn't going to help with growing the sport, because there's a lot of knowledge that I can help someone else with. And then there's someone that, like a Ryan Greenspan would be able to help me with, like he's been playing pro longer than I've been playing paintball. And it's something that is going to help me out to be able to help out other people, because we all want the sport to grow. But I think that there are some players that are so focused on like their own image that they don't look to other people. And I think that would definitely be one of the biggest issues. So this is a fun one. So the next one is from Jason FK13. I wonder who that guy is. Yeah, that's Jason that plays with Damage. So really cool that he follows Punisher's PB. But he was asking, what do you feel is the main separation for playing at the pro level to any level underneath pro? Basically, what makes professional paintball harder than divisional? The thing that I would say is those on-the-fly adjustments. Of course, the gun skills are going to be great. Like the snapshots are going to be there, the laning should be there, all of that stuff. But it's those real quick adjustments of what do I need to do in this situation, because the window of opportunity is going to close super quick. In Division 3, Division 4, you're going to be able to get away with a little bit more if you don't make that move at the right time. But in pro, there's going to be a lot of these quick decision-making times on the field that if you don't make it at the right time, then you're going to miss that opportunity to move, or now you've allowed another player to move up the field into a position that is going to be a detriment to your own team. That also ties into communication. The communication in pro is going to be completely different than in like Division II. Just the talking and how you communicate and break down a field is different. And then I would say that the pits are going to be different. So understanding what do we need to do to adjust to this particular situation. Every team is going to play a little bit different of a style of paintball. Great example. So Damage, you go against Damage, they're a team that is very good at digging in. So just because you maybe eliminate one or two players off the break, they are a very disciplined team. So if we're going against them, we know that you can't just expect that, oh, we got one or two kills, we're going to be able to just close this point out. That's not necessarily the case. They're a team that has a very good ability to be able to have great gun skills, of course, but also just the way of being able to break down, like, how do we lock down the field to our advantage? So kind of understanding that. But I think the biggest thing is probably those quick decision making. How do I move on the field? Where do I move on the field? When do I move to somewhere on the field is going to be probably the biggest thing, separating other divisions. All right, so last question comes from LG Kramer 44. How much time every week do you dedicate to playing and practicing paintball? This one can be tough because there's a lot in paintball that there used to be a time where you could play professionally and get paid and have enough to live off of, all of that stuff. And it was something that, great. And then the economy and the economy of paintball itself, you know, when it dipped off, that cut a lot of that. I feel like that actually hurt paintball a little bit because some people are expecting these like big handouts, and that's not the case. It should never have been the case for that. But I'm actually a middle school science teacher. Like, that's what I do for a profession. It would be great to be able to just have strictly working out, drilling, playing paintball every single day. Like, that would be great if that was my job, that I would just go out and that was my job, was just honing my craft. And that would be fantastic. But I still got to pay the bills. So teaching is something I enjoy anyway. So it's something I'm able to go and do. But because of that, I can't go out every single day. But what I can do is on the weekends, of course, go out and do drills, points, stuff like that. Now, the other thing that I'm doing throughout the week is just working out. Those kinds of things are going to be able to help me to be a better player. You know, if I'm cutting more body fat, I'm able to be faster on the field. If I'm being more athletic, it's going to help me on the field. So there's things that I can do during the week that, yeah, it'd be fantastic, like I said, to be able to go out and just do snap shooting, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are my landing days. You know, like if that was the case, that'd be fantastic, but that's just not how it is right now. So even though I'm not playing every day, I am playing pretty much every single week to go out and do that. But pretty much every single day, I'm doing some sort of physical activity and working out in some form or fashion. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to punisherspb.com. If you like these, make sure that you like and subscribe and comment down below. Do you want to see a part 2? There were some other questions that we weren't able to get to. I know we're running a little bit long, and that's not a bad thing. So I hope that it was something that you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. But as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.